Welcome to the first episode of The Youth Perspective. I'm Colby Lawhorn, and joining me today are my co-hosts Joe Faircloth, Daniel Grosdidier, and Isaac Lewis. We have a full slate today, starting with the Confederate controversy, followed up by the Georgia primary disaster, and then the Black Lives Matter protest. But before we jump into that, we're just going to go down the row and give you just a little look at what our political views are. Joe?
Hi, I'm Joseph Faircloth. I identify as a conservative Republican, and I would definitely vote for Donald Trump coming in this upcoming election.
I'm Daniel Grosdidier. I'm a right-leaning Libertarian.
Yeah, I'm Colby Lawhorn, like I said, and I'm a left-leaning Libertarian.
I'm Isaac Lewis, and I'm a Democrat.
Or a Socialist.
No.
Alright, so, first up, we have the Confederate controversy. So, one of the most notable things here is Trump refusing to rename the military bases that are named after Confederate generals. Joe, do you want to start off with that?
Alright, so with that, you gotta look back at history and realize that not every Confederate general was fighting just for slavery itself. They were fighting for their homeland. So I can see where people are coming from when they want to rename them and get rid of these Confederate figures, but you also understand they're still part of our history, and if we ignore history, it's doomed to repeat itself.
Well, then you just put them in a museum.
Well, what harm, true harm is it doing with having
It's
a base named after?
It's like waving like a communist flag. It's like they're traitors.
They are traitors. I see what you guys are coming from. I get the points, but I don't think we need to go through the rebranding of these military bases, basically.
I feel like we could phase it in, you know? We don't have to go and rename them all right from the beginning, but eventually, years down from here, we're gonna look back at this, and I mean, it's just gonna look stupid that we have these Confederate generals into the the military bases named after these Confederate generals. Because I mean, you look at other countries. I mean, in an extreme position, Germany, they don't have a Hitler base or a Schlieffen military base.
I think it's kind of stupid that that's first thing people go to. It's like, okay, why do you go? Like, you're not doing anything by changing militaries. That's not actually doing anything. Like, you're not, I don't know, people are this, like, that's just a stupid thing to go after. You're not making a new movement by changing a military base's name.
What about going after the Confederate flag?
Or the statues.
I don't think that's the big of an issue. Like, I don't know. I think I already said this
then what
before.
issues do you think we should attack?
Voting in people that will actually make a change, because Republicans and Democrats don't do anything. They don't care. They're just gonna be like, okay, yeah, you sit in your ghetto all your entire life. I don't care. I don't think it's just a joke, honestly. And people on Twitter are like, I don't know, getting angry already. Oh man.
Joe, do you have anything to say about the flags or the statues?
So, the Confederate flag, here's my opinion on it. I would never fly it, and I don't necessarily support it. At one point, I believe it stood for heritage, but in the recent years, white supremacy groups have started using it as a symbol for themselves, and it's been flown alongside the Nazi flag. So now I do see it as a symbol of hate, and I think I could see why people use it as heritage like a couple decades back, but recently it has become a symbol of hate.
So I think it's a problem. If you're flying it and you don't expect for me to call you a racist, that's a problem, all right? But we also can't outright ban it like some people want to call it. That's just a violation of the First Amendment. I talked to Daniel with this. He posted it on his TikTok. I mean, we can't just...
By the way, check us out on TikTok.
Yeah, we can't. We'll plug it right now. We can't ban it. Because if we ban it, that's just opening a gateway to, violating the First Amendment.
Yeah, I think it is violating the First Amendment. It's not opening it up, it's violating it straight up. And people that call for that are fucking stupid, to be honest. They're stupid. If you think that you need to ban anything...
We do not condone cussing on this channel.
Yeah.
I'm not bleeping it out.
Yeah.
It's gonna stay in there.
All right, let's move on to the banning the Confederate flag. Staying on that track, they're banning it in NASCAR now. Do you think that's a move to make? Obviously,
it's a privately owned company. They can do as they please, just as if a privately owned company didn't want to hire someone that flew the Confederate flag, it's just their right.
Yeah, I'm not affected by it. I don't
They
really
still
care.
have it though, because at the end of the race they wave it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, the white flag.
Oh.
Yeah. Same as
Oh, yeah. That's good.
I think that's a
Thank
French
you.
flag.
I stole that.
French flag.
So do you think the race car driver, I can't even remember his name because he's not good at all. Do you think he has a right to be upset and quit over that?
No, there's definitely somewhere in his contract that stipulates that he can't, like, that they can take away what he flies or how he decorates his car. There's somewhere in a contract.
I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, okay, if you want to give up your career because you can't fly your flag, then okay, who cares?
Yeah.
Go ahead and leave then.
I'm pretty sure they have like underleagues and stuff to get to
Yeah.
the actual
Yeah, they
NASCAR.
have
So I'm
to.
like, yeah, someone's definitely gonna just replace you with ease.
I have a
He's probably in an under,
third
let's be
cousin
honest.
who's one of the pit crew in the underleagues.
It's a great story, Colby. Getting back on topic.
Hey, I don't have anything else down for the Confederate controversy. I was honestly expecting more of a fight here. But
So what are
we'll get more to the fights later. Black Lives Matter protests.
boxing too? You got to think about this. Kind of goes in with the BML. We'll get there later. We'll just get there later.
All right, do you guys have anything else to add to this?
Not really. I mean,
I just think it's been taken out. The Confederate flag was taken out of context a long time ago, and now, if you fly it, you're a racist. Honestly, it's just how it is
It was
now.
always about racism.
I mean, not necessarily. It was. I don't know if it was necessarily just about racism always.
I mean, it was. It was a traitorous group fighting for
Yeah,
states'
but you
rights to
can't-
hold slaves. That's what it was about.
I actually saw this.
But
I really-
also, can I
Yeah, go ahead.
rebuttal real quick? Yeah, it was states' rights to own slaves, but it was also their entire economy.
Yeah.
Their
But
entire
it was still
economy.
slavery.
It still was slavery, and it wasn't right. I'm not condoning their actions, but but without slavery, they were going to lose everything. And if the South's economy was going to crash, that was going to in turn crash the North's economy.
Yeah,
Which
the
it
North
did.
wasn't good. They were just, not being as rich as the South.
I think I saw this earlier today on Instagram. I didn't fact check it, so I could very well be wrong and embarrass myself right here. But apparently, the Confederate flag, what do they call it, Old Dixie that we see today, is not the one that they had at the beginning of the Confederacy. It wasn't until maybe even after the Confederacy that they introduced that one in.
Well, wasn't it the stars and bars, and then it was like the 13 stripes, like the 50s or however many stars
Well,
it was at the time.
I think it was always like in the corner,
Yeah.
but it wasn't the full flag. It was more like a Mississippi.
Isaac and I will put both flags in edit.
Hopefully.
Later.
All right. So, do we want to cut, or do we just want to keep on rolling through?
just keep rolling.
All
I
right.
think we're doing good.
So next up, we have the Georgia primary disaster. If you didn't see, in Georgia they held their primaries last Wednesday. Yeah, last Wednesday.
6 days ago.
By the way, we're filming on Thursday, so if someone gets assassinated, before Sunday, we don't
Or an
talk
hour
about
from
it.
now.
That's my
It could happen in the next 5 minutes, but we're not checking our phones. So.
So in the Georgia primary, voters were having to wait outside for hours. I heard reports of people waiting out for 6 to 8 hours at a time. I don't know if you guys heard that too. And it's a big controversy on who there is to blame. Personally, I think we have to put the blame on Secretary Brad Raffensperger, the Secretary of State of Georgia. It is in the Georgia Constitution. It is the responsibility of the Secretary of State to hold the elections. Now, I'm not saying all the blame's on him. Of course, there's a little bit on the counties for not properly
Adjusting to the COVID-19 restrictions.
Yeah, and they weren't properly holding their staff accountable to get them trained.
I'm sorry, why isn't COVID-19 a major point on here right now?
It's kind of, we're bringing it up in the Black Lives Matter protest on are we done with
That's
it?
true.
But so yeah, I mean, I think we have to put the blame on him, but not all the blame. But the thing that's really irritating me is that he's trying to push all the blame onto the 2 counties that had the biggest problems. One of them being the county that Atlanta's in. I don't remember what it's called.
I was gonna say, I saw that it was like 2 districts, like the outer ends of Atlanta were most heavily affected, and it was majority minority. And I don't know, I think it's kind of just it's the biggest issue is that it's not that it's not a big issue what's happening in Georgia, but it's what's going to happen in the upcoming election 2020.
I think
Because like there was kind of an issue in Iowa too.
Yeah.
So that's what it seems like most people are worried about, and the Democrats and Republicans are just like yelling at each other in Georgia. It's kind of a joke.
I think what was I going to say? Yeah, so the question though is was this an act of voter suppression? I mean, do any of you guys have opinion? I know Joe didn't research it that much, but what would you say?
I read an article, and I wouldn't call it voter suppression. I don't think it was an ideal situation for
I
any.
think you could make the point, but
Yeah.
I don't think there's enough evidence
Yeah.
to say
I
That's what I
agree.
was thinking.
that's
I
exactly
agree.
what happened.
I
It's
think
Kavanaugh 2.0.
Yeah, I think it was the perfect storm coming together. You got these new voting machines in a year where we couldn't properly train the people because of COVID-19 restrictions. And of course, you know, the areas that have the most people voting are going to be the ones that get hit the heaviest, which just happen to be in the cities where they have higher minority populations than they do over in, the white suburban neighborhoods. But also, it's the primaries. Who's going to try to suppress voters in the primaries?
Yeah.
You're not
Yeah.
voting Republican, Democrat.
That's true.
Anything else on that?
I think that's
No,
about
that's
it.
definitely our weakest point of today's episode.
Yeah.
All right, let's hop right back into it. Now comes the exciting segment, the one that hopefully will start some arguments. It's the whole point of this. Is the Black Lives Matter protest. Anyone want to take a lead on this?
I say we should just go down the line and say our overall opinion. I think
go
we started
from
with you
there.
last time, so you go ahead.
What is there to say? Black Lives Matter.
Well, no
Like-
shit.
It's like if you disagree, you're an idiot. It's like, defund the police. That's about all.
I don't know if defunding the police is a way to go about this. I mean, obviously you can't put this into a hashtag. You know, hashtag defund the police will reach the character limit on Twitter, but I think what we're really looking for is hashtag reallocate the assets that the police have into different assets such as training instead of military grade weapons.
And qualified immunity.
It's basically what it means, but
Yeah.
you just rephrased it.
Well, but I'm not.
Does it make sense? Because defund the police can be taken just to too many extremes. Like when people
Like
say
abolish prisons.
Abolish prisons.
That was
People
funny.
downtown mass with those signs, by the way.
Are you serious?
When you ask
Yeah.
them about what they're going to do with the people, like the murderers and serial rapists, they're like, I don't know, probably lock them up somewhere.
So what? Prison.
Prison. All right, a little off topic, kind of. But here's my thing.
Well, you go.
First of all, I think we all recognize here that what happened to George Floyd was an absolute tragedy.
Oh, yeah.
What happened to George Floyd was an absolute tragedy. And the Black Lives Matter movement. Black Lives Matter, but movements become something else. It's like people say all lives matter, which is true, but when you look at the all lives matter movement, it's not the same thing. It's just saying, in general, all lives matter. When movements happen, there's people that get involved that they're just getting involved to be involved without
Yeah.
actually having meaning in the movement.
That's the issue, is that.
Jake Paul.
Yeah, that's the
Like,
issue.
You have my respect, totally, until you start looting Target
Yeah.
for no reason.
Burning down Orbeez.
The hundreds of our classmates who posted black pictures said hashtag Blackout Tuesday, hashtag Black Lives Matter, and put a little black emoji fist.
They're gonna be so pressed.
the two black people they've ever met in their
Yeah.
entire life from Eudora, Kansas.
Yeah.
But like I see what I get trying to help out and show your support, but a lot of those people, it's just basic white chicks getting a case of the look at me's.
Yeah.
Okay, but they also only have like 500 followers max, all right?
And all
They all follow each other.
Yeah, and they all know about it already. Like if you're living under a rock, if you aren't living under a rock, then you know about it.
I think the biggest hole in the Black Lives Matter movement is their lack of leadership.
Yes, that's what I'm saying too.
They have no leader, because you have all these different directions that they're going. Like Joe said, when you have a movement, it starts going different directions, and I think with a leader, we could stop that.
Because you got people that are like, You got people like the Republic of Chaz. If you don't know, the Republic of Chaz is an autonomous nation in the middle of Seattle. It's pretty much blocked off like 5 blocks of the city.
It's just a bunch of hippies.
and
Hippies and people with like.
I'm pretty much stealing everything I'm saying here from Ben Shapiro right now, but they control this area and they're not letting police in, and they're pretty much taxing the local businesses in order to fund them. They have no food. They have no food because they let a bunch of homeless people in. The homeless people stole their food and left. And they're like all big on no cops, but they have armed guards surrounding their perimeter, not letting people in.
Yeah.
And they also, if you're a white journalist, they have these signs up. I saw them. If you're a white journalist there to document, if you're documenting the bad side, they literally send those armed guards that you're talking about to just come beat the shit out of you.
Really?
Also, yeah, this is also known as anarchy, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds like.
My grandma's watching this. Uh-oh.
Who cares?
Well, I said a bad word.
I know. I know. Well, your grandma can deal with it. Grandma. Sorry, grandma.
Yeah, but the Republic of Chaz is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. It's just like, they have no food, and they put out a list of like their demands if they want to rejoin the union.
You see like the gluten-free.
Yeah.
Wait, what were their demands?
So the demands to rejoin the union, it's like every black person in prison in the state of Washington gets a retrial.
That is.
The weed gets legalized. Everyone in Washington prisons arrested for weed charges gets released.
I like that.
I'm okay with that. But you still can't demand that. Like,
you can't demand anything, right?
Yeah,
if you really, they're gonna send the military in.
Yeah.
Gotta go
Eventually.
eventually.
no, but Seattle's mayor is like, no, it's okay. We don't need to send the military in.
Yeah, Seattle's mayor is nothing compared to SEAL Team 6.
No, and then Seattle's governor was questioned about this last week, and he was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I've never heard of this Republic of Chaz. Bullshit. Yeah, you have.
middle of the
It's
city.
in the middle of your capital city, man. Seattle, the capital of Washington. Might sound really uneducated there. Colby?
I don't, it's not. I don't know where
What
it
is capital? That's my bad.
Hey Siri!
I'm just gonna look this up real quick because this looks really good for the podcast.
Who cares?
Alright, anyways, well he's looking at that. But yeah, no, like I was saying, they need a leader.
Olympia. Anyway, your biggest city when you have a autonomous zone.
That's pretty stupid.
It's horrible. It's horrible. It's just people are like, look at me. Hey, look at me today. Don't forget about me. I'm still here.
So we went from the Black Lives Matter to Chaz.
Well, it's all based off the same thing.
Didn't they change it to chop? Didn't they change it to chop?
I know
Because
they were trying to change it.
they want to chop people's heads off like it's
I don't know about that one.
French.
I don't know. I don't think they're pulling out the old guillotines.
No, that's what they were. That's what they were chanting about. Like they were yelling like chop and how they. Well, they don't have guillotines, but they are acting like.
I don't know
they-
about this one, Daniel.
No, that's a fact.
No, I'm gonna bring in
I need
something
some people
here
to
that
back me up on that, Colby.
I'm gonna bring something in here that might
Okay, good.
actually offend some of you. But it is a fact that police are more likely to kill a black man than a white man. I don't know if you guys have seen those videos where they're talking like, no, white men get killed more. Yeah, but that's not proportionately.
Yeah.
A lot more white people in America.
Okay,
than
well-
black people.
If we're gonna break that down, then you just gotta think I don't know the exact percentage, but I think it's close, around 70%. 70% of blacks murdered on the streets are murdered by other blacks.
Yeah.
So why isn't more attention going to that?
Well, because it's
Why is it, what throwing your hands up is an argument, Isaac? Can
Well, because it's just,
what is
it's not the main point of the movie.
It's not the main point of the movie, but Black Lives Matter. Then shouldn't we focus on the majority of blacks getting killed by other blacks? Or are we just gonna let that not? We're just not gonna talk.
But how are we going to focus on that when they're still getting killed by police officers at a disproportionate rate?
Yeah, but
we should
is it-
tackle the smaller issues first.
Okay, but we should tackle both these issues, obviously. But there's more. We tackle the big issues first because the amount of people being murdered by black on black crime seems like no one in the Black Lives Matter movement cares about the black on black crime ratios.
I think that, well, you can't really, okay, so I just think it's, I don't know, the Black Lives Matter movement sometimes I'm just like, oh my gosh, because what are you going to do to stop racist, okay, so what are you going to do to stop police that are or are racist, or like you can't stop people from committing crimes.
Also, yeah,
So-
ACAB is the dumbest thing in the world.
So
Isaac supports it, and his dad's a cop.
I don't understand
You support ACAB?
why.
ACAB?
Yeah, all cops are bad.
No, I don't support that, but it's like,
I don't understand why.
Obviously, my dad isn't a racist pig.
That's what I'm saying.
The majority of cops aren't racist pigs.
Well, also
It's a very, very small amount.
it's just the fact that some people will put up with it and just stand by and watch instead of actually doing something.
Okay, no, that's
all
another
those cops,
thing.
all
That's-
those cops in the George Floyd incident deserve prison time. No one is. You understand that probably 9% of America
Probably more.
agrees that police brutality is not a good thing. Like
Yeah.
we agree on this.
What's your idea for addressing that then? Through legislation, how? What do you propose?
See, this is the thing. It takes so long, and
It does take a long time.
my values are Republican conservative values, but I think we should have listened to George Washington in the first place and not had political parties. It should have just been people up there preaching what they wanted to preach, basically. And then, because you get Republican versus Democrat, and then no matter if like the Democrats want to do something good or Republicans want to do something good, the other side won't go
Yeah.
for it just out of pure spite, and it's freaking ridiculous at this
Yeah.
point. So nothing ever gets accomplished in Congress. All that happens is just more violent crimes in the streets and more crappy things in the streets because nothing ever gets accomplished because of the government.
I will say, it's going to take a long time to pass legislation on it. I mean, how quickly the coronavirus aid package got passed is astounding.
Okay.
How quickly that got passed.
The thing is, like I said, how are you going to stop people? You don't know people's motives. You don't know everyone's motives. Like, that cop could have been the most, like, on face value, been like the most genuine person or whatever, and then in reality, he's a racist person who wants to kill innocent people. I don't know. Like, or also, I don't know about this. I don't know. Was there anything to suggest that he was racist? Besides, well, I mean, he killed a black person, but like that could have been a white person, or
Honestly, don't know if they're able to prove that it was a racially motivated crime.
yeah.
Yeah, that's been a big point where people say that it wasn't a racist crime, but it's hard to look at that.
I'm pretty sure he
It
was
not
linked with other incidents, like him just standing and doing nothing when it happened.
Yeah, he
I'm
did have
I'm
that
not
thing.
entirely
He
sure.
did have that thing with police brutality with Native American that they just threw to the side because no one.
Was that in Alaska? Was that the Alaskan native?
Yeah, but it was in Minneapolis.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure he'd been in with that police department for quite a
And
while.
didn't he work with?
Yeah,
Yeah, he
I've
worked
seen
with
reports
George
of that.
Floyd. Okay,
they,
so-
were security guards together for like 17 years.
Yeah,
feel
so
like-
a lot of people think that it was premeditated, but I'm like, I don't know.
That
you
won't
can't
hold up
prove
in
there's no
court.
proof
Yeah.
of premeditated murder.
Yeah.
That's why
Right now there's not.
That's why it should be a second-degree murder.
Yeah. Yes.
See, the thing is, I agree in second degree murder, but they originally charged him with third degree, which is very similar to manslaughter, because they thought there was a higher chance of him getting convicted on third degree.
Yeah.
But they did bump charges.
I mean, in some states, third-degree and manslaughter, I think, are interchangeable.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, pretty much.
think
There's
in Kansas it
pretty
is.
much is third degree. The difference is third degree is you kill the guy while trying to beat him up, but you weren't trying to kill him.
Yeah.
So, but the manslaughter is you just didn't even mean to hurt him at all, but you ended up killing him. That's the only difference.
Yeah.
Um,
And
I should know this.
and the time you served is also different.
Yeah.
But what else do I have on here?
Okay, you have all my respect until you start looting. I know I already said that. I just don't
So what
think-
do you think?
I just don't think
the
looting
protest should be?
accomplishes
We don't-
anything. You know, let's take these, because in these major cities, you have neighborhoods that all black neighborhoods, poor black neighborhoods that already have, and the cities aren't in great economy. You know, let's go burn down the businesses. That'll help the economy out and bring black jobs. But when the black
Everyone who was put into prison for that, everyone who was arrested, was found to not even be a citizen of Minnesota, I think.
Yeah, it's just completely ridiculous. It's just people wanting to steal things. It's just
Taking advantage
so
of
people being
situations.
thieves.
here's what I think. I think, to be honest, there's almost I guess cops have to be held okay, I don't know. Cops just have to be held accountable. That's what has to happen, no matter what. Or else you can't do anything. Like, that's the only way to solve it, because I don't know. People are acting like there's just this easy way to solve it. I don't know. I think
What's the immunity thing called?
qualified immunity?
Yeah, that needs to be
Qualified
abolished.
Yeah, because basically, if a cop, like, say Joe, well, like someone killed someone and they went and arrested Joe and sent him to jail, and were like, you were the one that killed him, and then Joe gets off, and the cop gets off because his lawyer brings up qualified immunity because Joe looks similar. No, that's violating Joe's rights. He needs to be punished for that. But qualified immunity only protects little things like that. Like, it's not going to protect George Floyd being murdered. So I don't know.
I would argue to say without any camera footage, it would have protected them.
Oh, yeah, you're probably right.
No, if this was on video, you wouldn't have heard on it. And that's one of the true issues, is that people don't want to stand up for these crimes. And we all know these crimes happen, and they're horrible. They're horrible. We know this. But unless it's a viral video, and you don't get the white Instagram girls supporting your cause, it's not a true cause, is it?
Will Smith said racism isn't getting worse in America, it's getting filmed.
Yeah, I saw that. I think
that's a perfect.
The thing that bothers me is that racism is still a thing in America. This is obvious. When people suggest it's at the same standards as it was in the 1960s, it baffles me.
Yeah,
It's completely
that's
baffles me.
Getting lynched apparently.
That's
so.
stupid.
That baffles me because they're like, no change has happened.
Wait,
Really?
people-
Because I'm pretty sure you can vote now.
People
you have the same
can
rights as us.
Still be getting lynched. Yeah, that's terrible. But I have yet to see a video of someone getting their skin blasted off by a fire hose in a protest.
Yeah, but it's still like, okay, why is it still happening?
Well, we don't.
Okay, but
there's
you
no
can't
proof.
change it.
There's
You
no
can't-
proof of it even happening.
You
Just
can't-
because someone says it doesn't mean it's happening.
you can't change racist
It's
people
happening currently
overall.
in the U.S.
Like,
At
Well, I'm
astounding
not saying
number.
that it's like confirmed yet, but there have been multiple reports of people.
but you
Yeah,
can't,
the multiple
change.
reports.
You can't change what people are going to do. If people are going to be crazy racist, you can't change.
Yeah,
it.
if someone's a racist, you're not gonna be able to convince them.
Oh, I think you
let's
can.
pay.
You were able.
I mean, there's
Okay,
that,
well,
that black dude
can't
that
do it by
convinced, like
walls.
20 KKK members to leave the KKK.
Yeah.
Hitler Youth was able
Well, no,
to turn
I'm saying laws.
all these kids who were just innocent little kids into racist people.
Yeah, but that
Why can't we
Well, that
do
was-
that the opposite
well, that's-
way?
Because we all
It
have
depends-
you
all right,
can't
so I
put
guess-
laws in place to stop people's like you can't put laws in place to change how people think.
But surely it has to be something with the Civil Rights Act, where
The only person that's came up with an idea to stop police brutality is a libertarian, the only libertarian. And
I mean,
like that's what I'm saying. This is just bipartisan. Republicans and Democrats don't actually care. They act like they care. They pander towards, and that's the other thing. Just pandering. Like, oh yeah, I support you. All these companies. No, you don't. No, you don't.
You know,
Disney. Yeah,
the
we
most
support Black Lives Matter.
anti-Semitic.
Yeah. Did you
companies in
see? Did you see? Like they take off, like on Black Panther, they like put the mask over him when they were trying to sell it in China. They take off like the women off the cover and stuff. Like when they put it in China, when they produce or release their movies in China and have like the banners, they remove those sort of things, and then they put on their Twitter like, yeah, we support the Black Lives movement.
I'm pretty sure
memes
that's
out.
more. I'm pretty sure that's more China than it is Disney.
No, it's
but-
It's Disney's.
okay, but
Disney's still doing it. But
No,
I'm saying
that's completely Disney's choice. China's not going to limit what they can show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, it's just Disney trying to make money.
Well,
Yes, that's all Disney
that's what
tries
I'm
to do.
saying. So
Yeah.
you're gonna act like, yeah, I support the Black Lives Matter movement, but you don't do any. Just by saying, yeah, I support the Black Lives Matter movement, isn't doing a thing. Voting
help.
people that do stuff is gonna solve.
Which
it.
yeah, but you can't. I see what you're saying, Daniel. But nothing can change until like the upcoming election.
speaking of the election, I was coming home and I didn't want to put in my aux, so I changed the station, and I was listening, and it was two black people talking, and they proposed the idea of the African American community boycotting these elections. That's the exact opposite thing.
Yeah, let's stop voting.
That's the exact
that brings me back to Chaz. They said that they only want black doctors to be able to see black like patients, and black lawyers to defend black people on trial. It's like, oh yeah, let's bring back segregation.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
basically what it was.
man, it's just I can't believe it.
boycotting the upcoming election for. Okay, I don't know. It's like if they.
So
I don't know. It would be, I feel like that would be I feel like that'd be not great for either candidate. Because I feel like
It'd be much better for Trump.
yes, but because there are black people that vote for Trump, obviously. But I think no, it'd be worse for Biden because I think the black people that were going to vote for Trump would still vote, and the black people that weren't going to vote for Biden.
That's true.
But that was like.
Wait, did I say it'd be much worse for Trump?
No, you said it'd be better for Trump.
Yeah.
You're right. What you're saying. But people also forget they're like Trump's just a 7-year-old white man. He's a racist. Biden's also a 7-year-old white man. He has
He's
many
been in office
racist
for
things.
40 years.
That's why I hope he picks a good vice president. So if he dies,
I just can't
That's
believe
his only
people
reason he's picking a black
I can't
woman.
believe people.
It's because he realizes all the racist stuff he said. He's like, oh, I'm gonna pick a black woman. That'll help me.
I can't believe. Who's he picking?
Let's see.
Or
it's a short
proposed.
list. Right.
We have he's gonna pick Kamala Harris, Val Demings, Susan Rice, Keisha Lance Bottoms, or
Oh,
Michelle.
I saw that.
The last two are black. One of them's Latina, and then
So he's gonna do.
He did say it's probably
either
gonna
a
be black
female.
woman.
Yeah,
He's either gonna do a female
he said woman
or
of
a black
color.
female.
He said it's gonna be a woman of color. Which isn't that oddly racial against white women?
I think he's trying to pander to more people
In a
to
way.
try to win.
He's trying to gain voters,
Yeah.
but it's not like no president before him has done that.
I think it's stupid that people would. Honestly, I think it's dumb. If you're gonna vote for Joe Biden over whoever, like obviously Donald Trump's the biggest. I think that's dumb. Like you look at his mental health, how far he's deteriorating. He can't even formulate an entire sentence. Like
I'm not gonna say who because I don't know if they want their name in the
even
podcast
if it's
or
the
not.
vice president.
But a person I've talked to recently said, imagine your boss was leaving and they came back with 2 7-year-old replacements. And they said, one of these 7-year-olds is going to be your boss for the next 4 years. I see, like, I've supported Trump recently and all these things, but like, I agree, like, we need younger people that aren't geezers to be the president. Andrew.
I think it's so hard to be a young person and crack into that. I mean,
Well, no, because America's set in its ways.
Obama was fairly young to be a president, and he hit the retiring age by the time he was out.
Yeah.
And that's considered fairly young. JFK was the youngest ever at like 45 or something.
Really, that was the youngest ever.
Youngest you can go is 35.
Yeah, 35.
There's one younger than JFK. There was.
Was it?
I thought it was JFK too. I looked this up recently. I can't remember who it was, but I feel like there's one. He was like just a.
No. There was one who was younger when they left office.
Okay.
JFK obviously didn't leave office.
Yeah.
On his own terms.
Lyndon B. Johnson took over.
CIA.
Thanks.
Nah, it's definitely the mafia. So, what do you think about kneeling for the anthem?
That's so right. But then like also like this NFL has the same thing. If they're like NFL privately owned company can be like
They're not going to do
You can't do that.
They're not going to do that.
you can't do that. The NFL has that right. If the players don't want that, then
That flew a couple years ago and only a couple people were doing it, or actually some managers.
it got pretty major.
Some managers were saying that you couldn't. But today, and in the climate right now, I don't think. I think the NFL is going to lose a lot of viewers. And I think it's kind of stupid to kneel for the national anthem, but I see why you do it. I get the reason behind it, and I also see, it's also their right.
See,
So,
if you're a white guy that gets mad at people kneeling for the national anthem, but then you talk to someone, like if national anthem's playing and Daniel and I are sitting here joking, you're racist. If you get mad at them for kneeling, a black person kneeling for the flag quietly and still putting their hand over their chest, but then you're like sitting there like, oh, what a racist talking to your white buddy. It's horrible. I think that angers me.
I think it's a great way of protesting. You're able to anger a lot of people, get a lot of people looking at what you're doing. Same with burning the flag. Yeah, I know you hate it, Joe. I know you hate it. I know you hate it.
Come on, man. Come on. Burning the flag.
Just hear me out here. Hear me out here. The number of people who died from the riots is what? It's like
more than what police killed last year.
Yeah, but it's also more than the people who have died due to burns from the flag.
Okay, no one's mad that no one's like, all right, burning the flag is not a good way to protest. You can kneel.
It's a great way to protest.
It is not. It's
mad.
It should be considered a hate crime at this point.
A hate crime?
No.
Who are you opposing hate onto?
Americans. As an American,
The military at this point. Burning the. All right, hate crime. I misspoke on that. I retract. Not a hate crime. That came out wrong. But it should not. It shouldn't be illegal in my mind because it's still your freedom to do whatever
You said
want.
you think it should be illegal?
No, it should be. I don't think it should be illegal. I don't think it's.
yes.
I don't think it's a good way to protest because it doesn't come off right.
See,
Like,
okay.
if you've had family in the military, and then they burn that flag, it looks like you're just disrespecting America.
I see what it looks like,
Disrespecting the people.
but that's not the whole point of it right now.
Yeah,
I think there's very few people going
That's
outside.
the issue, though. These people are burning the flag and protesting. This is what I'm saying. They don't propose any ideas. No one, and
That's
like
why-
you said, there's no head in the BLM. So no, there's not one person that's like, this is what we need to. This is the issue. This is how we're going to solve it. That's not happening. It's just people running around and even if it's peaceful protest. What they don't actually know what they're protesting for.
You know who it
There's
should
someone.
be? You know who it should be? Should be either Karen Bass, she's the chair of the Black Caucus, Stacey Abrams, you know that's who Isaac wants it to be, who
Vice president.
possible vice president nominee, or Charles Steele Jr.
Is
who's
he the first black billionaire?
Charles Steele Jr.
Yeah.
No, he's the head of the Southern Christian Leadership
Oh.
Conference. You know
I was way off.
what MLK was in front of.
Oh.
Speaking of MLK, Black Twitter is also ruining the legitimacy of this movement.
Yeah.
And tearing down the statues of Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass.
Yeah.
They tore down the statue.
I don't know that they defaced it. I don't know if they tore it down. They want it torn down. Frederick
so
Douglass,
stupid.
the black slave that was one of the biggest abolitionists out there. Yeah, let's get rid of his statue.
Yeah.
I saw Black Twitter. I saw on Twitter. There was this person. MLK the third, MLK's son. He said, "These riots is not what my father would have liked." And the comments were filled with, "Yeah, we don't care what your father liked. He did nothing for us. All he did was sleep with multiple women."
Are you serious? And how many likes were those? And how many likes were those getting?
They were getting hundreds of likes.
Yeah, it's got
It's not thousands.
No, because
Okay.
some of these people,
Still, that's
some of
hundreds
these
of
people, the majority want change, but some of these people just want chaos. They don't want change.
Yeah,
they want
they want to
just
go get a free PlayStation.
They want to be the guy on the news that gets where they're like, we found this guy in the protest. They want to be famous. They don't want to be.
Or the white dude that got the Legos from Target. You see that picture?
Yeah.
He casually walked.
Yeah. I was like, dude, did you see?
So what do you think we should do about coronavirus? Are we just tossing it out the window now?
Yes.
That's appears so.
Yeah.
It appears so.
Made up by the
cares?
government.
They're like the entire time. They're like,
The government
Can't go
shouldn't
to
have-
school, can't
The government
have
should not have a say on it.
can't have your
Or
problem.
if the federal government shouldn't, at least. Like the state governments, okay,
You
maybe.
can shut down the
maybe.
schools. The state government can shut down the
Yeah.
schools. It's ran by the state government.
Yeah,
No,
federal government should
well,
not
I
be
just-
doing anything.
You know what I don't understand is that they're finding people in New York
That's so
if
stupid.
you're not wearing
That's
a mask
such a
during
joke.
protest.
Such a joke.
That has to be a violation.
Yeah, no, that
Absolutely
100%. That 100% is.
Yeah, that is a violation of it. You know what? One of the stupidest things though is when you're driving downtown and you see someone in their car by themselves with the
Oh,
windows
yeah.
rolled up, driving, and they have their mask on. I'm like, what are you doing, man?
But so yeah, are we just done with these? I mean,
I guess so at this point.
what
because
are we gonna do?
as soon as the leftist media is like, oh, here's something that's important, which BML is important, we recognize that, but it's like, this is important, COVID, forget about
They
it.
just write the thing that'll give them the most views.
Yeah.
Oh, I also want to do, I don't support Fox either. I don't trust them.
I saw yesterday on I think it was ABC. ABC Nightly News. The coronavirus cases are spiking all across the country.
Okay,
I
but
think-
we also test more than any other country. Tests are becoming widespread now, and
See what-
you
that's
test more,
true.
you're going to get more.
Yeah, we have a lot of
See what
tests.
Trump said?
No, I didn't.
He said if we stopped testing, the number of cases would go down.
Technically, in the data, it would.
It's right.
Technically, he's right because they wouldn't be.
And-
I think I'm not calling COVID the flu because I know that was a big thing in the meeting, but it's going to become like the flu in our lives. It's just people are going to get COVID.
Well,
and it's
there's
gonna be
already
what it
different
is.
sorts of. This isn't just the first strand of COVID ever. There's different strands of
No.
COVID.
No, it's
That is-
the first strand of COVID-19.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
well, COVID-19 stands for Coronavirus Disease 2019. That's what it stands for.
Yeah,
But
because the swine flu was a coronavirus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's sad
that's what
that
I'm
people
saying.
don't.
There's
It's
other-
sad that people don't.
We should have
I
got a
didn't know
meta
the
name for it.
19 standard for 2019.
Yeah.
We should have got a meta name for it, like
USA virus, China virus,
China virus.
China virus.
Does he still call it that?
Probably.
I thought he
I don't think
kinda
they've talked
stopped.
about it much.
Okay,
lately.
you know, we should probably touch on Trump overall here for a little bit.
That was his walk to the church.
Walk to the church.
Okay.
Yeah,
Speaking of Joe, well, okay, yeah, let's go walk to the church.
Okay, so walking to the church. Here's mine. If something gets accomplished soon, not a photo op. Nothing gets accomplished, definitely a photo op.
I think it was a photo op just because I don't think he's ever been to that church before.
Well, I think he went to that church because he wanted some sort of hopeful backdrop, and church is seen as a hopeful place.
Yeah, but it's like
Backdrop of tear gas.
not the right time. Yeah.
No, okay, let's be real. I agree with Trump as a politician. What he does politically, his policies. I don't agree with him as a person. He's an absolute.
You just angered like 1/7 of our that being Dakota Heston.
I agree with some.
He's a buffoon of a human being.
Some of the stuff
And
is
people have to understand.
Heston or
we
Trump?
both.
Oh, okay.
We love you, Dakota.
But no, so yeah, I don't think it was. From what I've heard and what I've seen, they were peaceful. Of course, you know, the only time I'm ever really gonna watch the news is when I go to my grandparents' house, and it's CNN, so you don't get both sides of the story. But they were peaceful protests, and then they tear gassed them. Obviously, you have to clear way for the president. Those protesters would probably.
They would have been
take a swing.
Okay, but the cops did come out and say, I'm not necessarily this. They needed the tear gas because of this, but they were getting stuff thrown at them. But you know, we don't have to.
Did you see the?
You don't got tear gas.
Pictures of what was thrown at him?
It was like water bottles and stuff.
Yeah, it was like empty water bottles and pennies.
Which, if you, I mean,
like-
technically.
Alright, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. We had a problem with the camera. Where were we? We were talking about the tear gassing and the protesters.
Yeah, pretty much how like they shouldn't have been throwing stuff at the police because breaking it down by law, it's still assault. Now, did it require tear gas? No, they didn't need to tear gas them. There's plenty of other ways to remove them, like saying, like a cop is saying move, and then if they still refuse to move and you need them to move, then I can understand where the tear gas came from because you have a direct order from a police officer and you don't listen to them.
That's why they got pepper spray. I feel like, you know, just.
Well, that's
They're
probably
down.
basically the same thing, to be honest.
Yeah.
Might even be worse for that individual person. I don't know.
Yeah,
Actually,
tear gas
for sure.
is more effective, I'd say, but you didn't need it. There's no need for it.
There's so much missing from what was going on with the protesters in that area. I just think that.
And then there was something about like a DC blackout. Then Snopes came on and was like, yeah, no, that didn't happen.
What amazes me is all the conspiracy theories surrounding George Floyd.
What amazes me is how Snopes is able to just become like the all-knowing fact checker. It's just off
What
topic.
are you gonna say about George Floyd?
Well, there's conspiracy theories that like he was a mannequin, like a robotic
What?
mannequin. Yeah, I saw this. I'm like, well, this is absolutely ridiculous, and this is why the media has no credibility.
He was in a porno. How do you mean that?
No, like George Floyd is still alive. He's just part of some sort of secret society. Like he's an Illuminati.
He's a little
confirmed.
Anytime anyone gets a little bit of fame, they're an Illuminati.
You know, he was in a porno though.
Yeah, I know.
But I think that's a terrible way to justify it.
No, it's not.
People,
Just like people saying, how are you putting this man as a hero because he was on meth?
Well, he wasn't
Well,
a
he
hero
wasn't a
regardless.
hero.
He wasn't a hero.
He's not, yeah.
And not just because he was on meth or because he was a porno. He just wasn't. He didn't do anything.
He was a
heroic.
piece of shit.
Yeah,
to be
well,
honest.
he was
That's
not what
bad.
I was meaning.
He was, bro. Joe, that's not
Oh
controversial.
no, I'm not saying like. I feel like there were better ways.
Pistol whipping a pregnant woman and stealing money from her to buy more meth.
I feel like
What a great character.
There was better ways to phrase what you said. That's all I'm saying. I'm not.
I
Saying
don't think that should take away from the fact of the matter, though.
No,
that
it
he
doesn't.
was murdered.
No, I don't think he should be killed.
No one
I don't think he
cares.
should be killed.
No one cares that George Floyd himself was murdered. They killed an unarmed black man.
Yes.
George Floyd is just a symbol for this
Yes.
movement now.
Yeah, that's what I was meaning. Instead of hero, I should have said symbol.
Speaking of Twitter, I mean, sorry, speaking,
I was like, oh my God.
sorry, back to Twitter with the, this is more than George Floyd, they did his, it was either his sister or his,
Brother?
or maybe his daughter's mother came out and said, this isn't what George would like, he was a peaceful man, but, then they responded saying this isn't about him.
So I feel like it might be, speaking of Twitter this time, let's read a few of Trump's latest tweets.
All right, let's hear it.
Times 2:20 here on Thursday. Latest one is, first thing that anarchists did upon taking over Seattle was build a wall. Seattle's ahead of our times. If that cut out, he said he was ahead of the times because the people of Chaz were building a wall.
That's pretty funny.
That's pretty good, actually.
You know, you gotta say that. Even if you don't like Trump, funniest guy, funniest president we've ever had.
That's true. He's pretty
Horrible
funny
public
guy
speaker.
sometimes.
No one's denying that. Terrible with American history. No one's
No,
denying that.
these debates coming up, if we're gonna get
Oh, man,
debates,
I'm excited.
they are gonna be
You know, you thought-
There's no way.
painful to
Okay,
We
there's
thought
no
the Trump
way.
Hillary debates were a disaster.
Yeah.
Trump Biden, it's just gonna be a senile man next to a
This is how it's
Reality
gonna go.
star.
This is how it's gonna go. They're gonna say, "Hey, what, Joe Biden? Let's start with you. What are your ideas on police reforms?" And he's gonna be talking. And he's gonna go, and then Trump's gonna rip into him.
Yep.
And
Trump's
then the
gonna be like-
moderator's gonna go, "Trump, please wait for your turn. Mr. President, please wait for your turn." It's just gonna be that over and over.
Trump's got. Let me tell you something about Joe Biden. He has been in office for 40 years and
And
accomplished
nothing's
nothing.
happened. Yeah. There's gonna be, they're definitely gonna happen. They're definitely gonna be filled, or maybe they might have two apart, but there's no way college football and the NFL is not gonna go on because
No, there's
college
Hey.
football pays for like everything. Like all other sports are paid by.
Pat,
What do you think about on college football? What do you think about that whole Oklahoma State ordeal, wearing the OAN shirt?
Wait, what was it? I didn't understand the shirt.
This coach, he wore an OAN shirt.
Gundy.
It was-
Mike Gundy, yeah.
Yeah, it's just another Fox News, right leaning media. ONA, you said? What is it? OAN, I think is what it is.
It's a right-leaning.
Apparently, they get funded by the Kremlin. So.
Mike Gundy's under stress right now because he said the N-word, supposedly, no actual proof, just someone out alleging it. I think that's the right word. I'm bad at words. Fun fact.
Alleging.
That he said the N-word to someone in 1982. And that's something we should also touch on is
Cancel culture?
Cancel culture, yes.
I feel like I saw on Twitter today. People are allowed to change their opinions, and I'm like, that is the most sensible thing I've ever seen on Twitter.
Yes.
I feel like we're in this little bubble where once you say something, you can't.
Ever go back from
Yeah.
it. Yeah, it's stupid.
The people's education progresses as time progresses. It's a grind.
Yeah, that's why like fucking, I don't know, 70% of people used to be like part of the KKK. I don't know actually, but there used to be tons of people in the KKK, millions, and now there's like 2,000.
Okay.
People just get smarter over time.
People always say Trump definitely is
or
a
they
racist.
educate themselves.
Trump says the N-word, blah, blah, blah. If Trump has said the N-word, which there's no proof of, if Trump said the N-word, there's no way in hell Biden hasn't said the N-word.
That's probably true.
They're both 70-year-old white men.
Where's Biden
when they-
from? Where's he? Do you know?
Son
Is
would
he-
be-
South Carolina?
I was gonna say it's somewhere in the south.
I may be wrong.
Because that's where he
I'll
was
look it
like, that's where he like started coming back against Bernie. So
Oh yeah,
that's what
right.
I was. That's the only.
Dude,
reason.
I thought Bernie was gonna win, and then Joe Biden came out of nowhere and clapped Bernie.
Sadly.
Not sad.
I wanted Bernie to win just so Trump would absolutely manhandle him.
Joe Biden's from Scranton, Pennsylvania. Shout out Dunder
What?
Mifflin.
Oh yeah, he's from Pennsylvania.
Are you serious?
Scranton, Pennsylvania. Shout out Dunder Mifflin.
Well,
I didn't
South
know.
Carolina has a large black voter population.
That's why then.
Yeah, I'm just saying in 2016, Bernie definitely, if superdelegates didn't exist, Bernie would have been the nominee, and he probably would have beat Trump.
What? No
I
way.
think Bernie would have beat Trump in
No
2016. I really think
No
so.
way.
whole
Everyone
thing-
hated Bernie back then too.
I really think.
Not as much. He was new
Okay,
to the
we
game.
didn't also because we were middle schoolers. Like free college, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, that's true. We all want free college. I still want free college, but
I don't.
I understand that it
Who's
can't
paying?
come from the government.
Who's paying?
Okay, all right.
Okay, I respect that. Who's paying for it? That's all I'm saying.
Well, everyone
Yeah.
wants free college.
I understand.
But you can't get it.
Fund some military money, and then obviously you raise taxes a bit. But
Defunding the
Actually,
military
okay.
is so difficult to do, though.
yeah, I'm
Because-
not saying it's going to be easy. I'm saying
I don't
That's not the only thing.
That'd probably be a main
that's,
source of
That's
income.
that's one of the things. Like one of the priorities for taxpayers. Well, for some taxpayers, there's so much money we waste. Like, dude, I could go off right now, but I'm gonna offend people in Eudora if I do.
No, go ahead.
No,
Let's go on,
no,
Daniel.
no, we're here.
That's what we're here for, buddy.
No.
Just go off.
I
No,
will,
go
I will
off.
personally offend
Well, don't
people I
say
know.
names. Don't say names.
No, it will. Like they will be at. Like they'll be at. Like so. There's so much stupid shit the government pays for. Like literally. Like let's see how high snails can get. We're gonna dump $2 million into that.
That's kind of
no. That's
oh, okay, never mind.
there's so much
That's worth
garbage.
it. That is so worth it.
There's so much
It
garbage.
is so worth it to see
We
how high
spend-
snails can go.
We spend our money on the dumbest
I mean,
things.
chemicals in the water turn the
It's
frogs.
unreal. And oh man, like the planes, the B-2 bomber.
We don't
Honestly, we spend a little bit too much money on even me. I'd say we spend too much money on the military. A B-2
A
bomber,
little.
1 hour in the air, $100,000 maintenance.
Hi, if you're-
1 hour in the air.
If you're just now
When we
joining the
have
show,
missiles we can
excuse me, if
shoot.
you're just
What?
now joining the show, this is just Daniel's rant about.
Yeah.
Why would someone just now be joining the show?
It's a joke. We're already a failing podcast.
You know, to be fair, they probably will just skip
Also-
through the first part and they'll just land here.
When I go and fly at in Gardner every now and then, whenever I go, there's just Chinooks at the Army Reserve Base just flying around for shits and gigs. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like, do we really need to be flying at like 10 Chinooks every day? Like, how much money in maintenance and gas and oil is that
I
wasted?
mean, we're already $17 trillion in debt. I think
That's another. No, we're like 22 trillion. or something.
There's
Dude, I
no
thought-
going back at this point.
I thought, so what's like the tax rate overall? Like, how much of your money is taken out of taxes? Like 30% like 35% goes to.
I think it's somewhere around.
Okay, so
It
if
depends on
we,
your income.
our GDP is like 20 trillion or something. Our GDP is like 20 trillion. So if we just cut our spending for like 3 years, we'd be almost completely out of debt. If we just cut our spending for like 3 to 4 years, we'd
But
be like
how are we
completely
going to
out of debt.
cut the spending for 3 years? Because
Well, it doesn't have to be
obviously,
fully cut.
obviously the military can survive
Just cut it
if
a
you cut the
little bit.
spending in half. But all these other programs won't be able to survive.
Well, there's so many stupid the VA
You know how you
is
save a
fucking
lot of money?
stupid.
What are they
VA is-
saying?
Never mind. I'll just let Daniel go.
there's so many issues. Like, okay, you don't have to even complete it. Like, for now, I wouldn't be so opposed to raising some taxes for a little. As a libertarian, would not be so opposed to raising taxes for a little bit if we cut spending drastically to get rid of the national debt, because it's absurd how high it is. It's,
But it will never happen because of the bipartisanship.
yeah.
I mean, not the partisanship, not
yeah,
bipartisanship.
yeah.
You know how you save a lot of money?
Geico.
No.
15%. This could tell you 15% or more. Can't
And to sponsor.
Not sponsored.
If we just don't fund Planned Parenthood, or cut the funding.
Okay, there's so many, Joe. There's so many.
Hey, we're gonna leave abortions
things.
for another day.
I was saying,
Yes.
cut up Planned Parenthood.
That's
not all the
whole
money.
other rabbit
Yeah,
hole.
it is.
I do not debate anything.
Well,
about
I'm not getting into the actual details of abortion. I'm saying that is where we could save some money.
How much money are we spending on Planned Parenthood?
I just
Probably way too much.
Quite a bit.
So much shit we spend money on.
I gotta find the actual number. About in 2014, so kind of an old stat, so just give or take a few $1 million. It was $528 million, and it was over a third of the money.
$528 million.
But it only a third of that is from government grants and contracts.
That's still
outrageous.
disgusting. Imagine.
Million or billion?
Million.
528 million, and a third of it comes from the government, basically.
I wonder how much we get for taxes. Not enough.
Oh man. See, that's what I'm saying. There's no reason that should be getting funded at all by the government. I can't even imagine how much money.
Are they a private
We would-
corporation?
Isaac, why are you not? What?
Isaac, you haven't said anything.
Yeah, Isaac's not going against anything I'm saying.
Well, Isaac's about to pass out. So.
No, I'm trying to save abortion for a different day.
We're not tackling abortion.
We're just talking taxes right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're
I'm
tackling
getting
the economy.
heated about. Yeah, I'm getting heated about the economy. Dude, we've gone a full circle right now, but we're not in the circle. We're like at 180 right now.
We're
We're
actually in a line.
hopefully our video quality improves one day. You will get like a couch and some decorations.
We are gonna get a couch down here soon, some chairs, and so it's gonna be.
Maybe an American flag for the background.
I'd be down.
Isaac, you just grimace at
Yeah.
Why?
Why?
Why? Hi, this is Isaac, our local communist.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, but it's like, why?
What?
Why have an American flag in the background when we're talking about American
Yeah.
politics?
Yeah.
No, my bad. That was a terrible. idea.
Joe, that's a horrible idea.
Just saying.
When we do get to abortion, we should invite more people to come talk to it. Who are more qualified than us.
Like,
Joe Rogan.
Ben Shapiro, Joe Rogan, Tucker Carlson.
Joe Rogan.
So we've really gotten off track of the Black Lives Matter movement. Is there anything else you guys want to add to that, or are we about ready to wrap up?
You know, I just think movements are what make causes die, I think. Or not die, but get misconstrued.
Yeah, that civil rights movement really failed.
Let's go. Hey, let's go. Closing statements.
What about Isaac?
You start from Isaac.
Closing statements?
Closing statement.
Just about Black Lives Matter?
I mean, just a sentence or two.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Isaac's really good at that.
Sorry.
I'll go.
Defund the police. That's what I'll
There,
say.
I kind of agree with that.
There is a problem in America with racial profiling. It must be addressed, but there also must be leadership to address the problem.
I say you can't fix racist people by putting in laws that we don't already have. And vote Libertarian. That's all I gotta say.
Pretty much I'm saying, you know, I support any movement. That's freedom of speech. Do what you want until you start being violent and looting. But if you want to go out there and stand in this hot sun for your movement, Godspeed on that.
That hot sun in Minneapolis.
That's fine.
All right, so
Let me grab my sheet.
right before we wrap up this podcast, we just have brief little news points that we're not going to discuss much, just a quick little overview on it. So for me, if you haven't seen, excerpts of Bolton's, who is Trump's former national security advisor's tell-all book has been released to the Washington Post and the New York Times. Many controversial topics that we will discuss in the next episode, but we're waiting for more details to come out before we put it on the schedule.
I'll touch on two things. We kind of already touched on Biden's vice president candidates. Mine's going to, what about sports here? MLB season, probably not going to happen for a long time because the owners and the players are basically just saying F you to one another, not trying to compromise anything. And I just think it is complete bullcrap that they're getting rid of Elmer Fudd's gun, famous hunter of Bugs Bunny cartoon. Not letting him have his gun anymore, which I don't know I just don't understand why after however long Bugs Bunny's been in cartoons, it's a long time now. He's never shot the bunny once, but his gun's the problem.
Should have.
Daniel, you have to go ahead.
No, let Isaac go.
With what? Just the Bugs Bunny or?
No, just whatever you.
Just go ahead with the vice president.
Just the vice presidents?
No, or whatever you want to touch on. We already touched on vice presidents, really.
That's true. Well, the only other thing is that the NBA.
Well, that thing was already Kyrie came out and said that wasn't true.
Well, then I got nothing else.
What we're referring to is just Kyrie saying that there's rumors that Kyrie wanted to start his own NBA league and kind of like in name of Black Lives Matter movement, but Kyrie said he didn't want to form his own
So, what I was going to touch on that we didn't have on the sheet was Uncle Ben's removing the black, okay, so the person on Uncle Ben's is Uncle Ben, and he created rice or he was making rice that everyone was like, oh man, that's real good, back in 1946. I was doing some research yesterday because I was like, well, if it was originally blackface, then I can understand why. It was literally it's just a black dude on the cover, and they're like, man, that's racist, we gotta take that down.
That's what they do with Aunt Jemima's syrup,
yeah,
too.
okay, but that at one point was...
Yeah, that had racist history. I
yeah,
don't know
but
about
Uncle Ben's had none. It was literally, it'd be like having Obama's face on something, like, oh, that's racist, man. Obama's real, man, he's black-faced out. It's so stupid. I mean, can't believe
getting rid of that is more racist against black people than...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We just live in a clown world where so many things would become racist.
I mean, also...
out of nowhere.
Last few things, they're canceling the show Cops after
Oh yeah, and Live PD.
Live PD, and they're discussing canceling Paw Patrol.
No, not canceling it, just putting the police on.
Yeah. I saw this tweet and
those were actual rumors or?
Yeah, they might format Paw Patrol.
That's hilarious.
I saw this.
The dog police in the cartoon are the problem when they're teaching kids how sharing is caring.
That's man. I saw this thing and it was like, it's been 1 week since Lego removed their ads for police. Racism's over. It's ended.
No. The white Instagram girls ended racism long before.
Oh,
Lego
that's
did.
true. Yeah,
That's true.
All right, we don't have anything else for you here today, so
handshake.
For all of you watching, thank you for taking time out of your day, and we'll hope to see you soon.